시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까. 굿모닝인포맥스 2부 오늘도 힘차게 문을 열어보겠습니다. 먼저 연합인포맥스 기자군단의 취재파일로 시작합니다.
네, 그 실리콘밸리 은행을 시작으로요, 시그니처 은행 그리고 퍼스트 리퍼블릭 은행 등 미국 지역은행의 줄 파산은 2008년 글로벌 금융위기 이후에 최악의 사태로 기록이 되고 있는데요. 아직은 안심하기 이르다고 합니다. 그래서 오늘 서영태 기자가 도이치은행 신흥국 세일즈 글로벌 헤드를 만나서 앞으로 금융시장의 진단 또 헤쳐나가야 할 전략들에 대해서 좀 알아봤다고 하는데요. 그 내용 화면으로 함께 만나보시죠.
예, 안녕하세요. 연합뉴스경제TV 서영태 기자입니다. 오늘도 광화문으로 귀한 분 모셨는데요. 글로벌 금융시장에 대해서 또 한국의 시장 참가자들에 대해서 귀한 이야기 전해주실 분입니다.
Would you explain yourself? Would you introduce yourself to South Korea's audience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Firstly, very good morning, and my name is Serene. So I'm essentially the global co-head of emerging market sales for Deutsche Bank, and that basically encompasses 3 regions: Asia Pacific, Central Eastern Europe, Middle East, Africa, as well as Latin America. And what I look after is the sales division across the investment bank.
Thank you. Let's start with the first question. This year, market turbulences had continued because of the bank crisis, and there are uncertainties related to geopolitics. So, as a global head of sales, what kind of strategy should financial institutions and corporate adopt to navigate through those challenges? And how do you expect the financial market will look like in the future?
Sure, great question. I get that a lot from many of our clients in the current environment. So the first thing I would say is to be absolutely clear on what your current risk exposures are, and do not leave any unknown hidden exposures lurking in the background. So first and foremost, know very clearly what your exposures are, even the smallest one, because we've seen in times of stress and uncertainty, it's very often the small unknown exposures that can blow up. And when market moves get stressed, significantly, these are the ones that can really cost, our clients. The second then I would say is then for each and every one of your financial exposures, have an extremely clear strategy on what exactly is it you want to do. Do you want to hedge? Do you want to not hedge? Do you want to increase your hedge ratios, decrease your hedge ratios? Now the 2 things I would say that is very often the case in times of uncertainty is, firstly, hedge ratios tend to go up. So for whatever FX or foreign exchange, interest rates, risk exposures that are outstanding, that are there with our corporate clients, they would typically increase their hedge ratios. Very important, right? The second I would say is, then to shore up your liquidity buffers, right? Have your liquidity to the extent you can centralized, in one place. So, clearly that would give you, the buffers from a liquidity standpoint to withstand any potential crunch from a liquidity or credit perspective that could potentially arise from financial risk uncertainty in markets.
So, the next question is about Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank had gone through a period of restructuring, and now it has established a very well-balanced business portfolio with strong financial stability. Tell us more about Deutsche Bank's story, and what do you expect in the future? And what do you think Deutsche Bank is? Do you think Deutsche Bank is prepared for the future you mentioned earlier about the financial market? Yeah.
Absolutely, and once again, I think thanks for acknowledging that first and foremost. Deutsche Bank has indeed gone through a period of very significant transformation. So in 2019, if you might recall, we announced then our strategic transformation plan, to reshape and refocus the bank into becoming far more focused on our core strengths, and be a more well-balanced and essentially diversified bank within the areas of where we wanted to be strong at, right? very pleased to say that clearly the strategic transformation was very highly successful. And, as we announced very recently, we are now completed with the strategic transformation journey. Our financials have gone from strength to strength, right? We saw in 2022 the highest pre-tax profit since 2007, which I think, is clearly a very commendable performance, in light of all that's happening currently in markets and with the risks that are out there. So I think in short, we are very proud, of what Deutsche Bank has performed and has done to get to where we are today. And I think very rightfully, as you said, so the question really is what next, right? Particularly in, a very, an environment that's clearly becoming more and more uncertain, with, more geopolitical risk, more macro risks, and clearly uncertainty and events, risk events, just coming up, on a very frequent basis. And, I do think with the solid foundation Deutsche Bank has now achieved, with our financials, with our liquidity, with excellent core tier ratios, common equity tier 1 ratios, which are all surpassing our financial targets. I do think that we are in a very strong position, to navigate the upcoming waters, in murky waters. But at the same time, it was important to stay, continuously vigilant. And, as I said in my very first answer to the question you asked me, be aware of what risks are there, right? And have a clear strategy on what you want to do with regards to any outstanding risk. What I would also add on to that, which is very, very important for us, has always been our clients. And our clients, stuck through with Deutsche Bank, through ups and downs. And, with the current environment that's there, it's very important that we do and we will continue to stay, focused with the clients, who have supported us through the journey, right? And continue working with them and navigating, the upcoming certainties that lie ahead.
Thank you. So you're here in Seoul to support Deutsche Bank Korea and to meet South Korea clients, right? So would you please explain about Deutsche Bank Korea's strategy and, the past, present, and future?
Deutsche Bank Korea and the team and the leadership team here is a success story that we at Deutsche Bank are very proud of, right? Very similarly to the broader Deutsche Bank story, our teams here have gone through their ups and downs. And it is extremely pleasing for me, looking across all the countries that we manage, to see how well Korea has done, particularly with regards to the franchise, with regards to its risk management, with regards to how it's continuously engaged with our clients over here. The strategy, very frankly, it's very straightforward. It's really focusing on where we have core strengths and bringing them to our clients. And what is that? So I would say in this regard, it's really broadly two things. One, we are an international, globally relevant and strong bank. And we have presence all over the world. We have platforms, capabilities, products all over the world that we can bring in to Korean clients who are looking for diversification of asset allocation, who are looking for financial products to support their investment needs. And that is where we've played a critical role and will continue to play a critical role and continue to invest in that growth. The second, I would say, as clearly with how Korea has very successfully developed that conglomerates, the Korean corporates who have become globally so relevant, in whichever industries they operate in, we see ourselves as a key player in supporting their ongoing growth and global development. And we do think that, our platform, our strengths, our capabilities are extremely complementary to that, and we will continue to do so. So there are, I cannot give too much of specifics at this point. But one of the reasons why I'm here in Korea is to discuss our investment plans into Korea for Deutsche Bank.
I can see Deutsche Bank is very strong supporters for South Korean corporates. Yeah. So let's talk about the investment bank or financial institutions in here. Considering the economic structure, Germany has very similar economic structure with Korea. So it has good manufacturers and it has export-oriented economies. The one thing we don't have, like Germany, is that global financial institution. So what is your recommendation for Korean financial institution who want to be a global player like Deutsche Bank?
That's a tough one. I would say, first and foremost, be very clear on what you want your edge to be. Where exactly do you want to play? And what exactly are your core strengths you want to develop on, right? I think one mistake that is very easy to make is when, companies, institutions, they try to be too many things, at any point of time. And you then lose focus and discipline of what your core competency is, right? So I would say the very first thing is, know what your core strengths are. Is it balance sheet? Is it in capital markets? Is it in commercial banking? Whatever it may be, know what your core strengths are and develop on that front. The second, I would say, and maybe that's the easier, faster way to break in, is to look for strategic partners, to look for strong, trusted partners to go with them on the journey, right? And invest in specific markets alongside these partners. Leverage what they may already have, leverage what their strengths are, which you may not have, and work with them, on starting, into your foray into some of these local markets. But it's not an easy one to answer, and I would say these are the two things I would definitely advise in terms of, the first things to look at.
Okay. The South Korea financial industry do not have a global player, and it also they do not have female leaders. So let's talk about females in the financial industry. What is your advice to females in Korea who want to be successful in this industry? Yeah.
First thing I would say is, really invest in yourself, in your own personal development, technically, very importantly, as well as in your network, right? So have confidence in yourself to really focus on your personal development and on who you want to be. Don't be shy, of doing that. The second thing I would say, is you have to take ownership of your path and not expect somebody else to want to do that for you. There will be people around you who will support you. There will be people around you who will want to see you succeed for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, you have to take your own responsibility for who you want to be, where you want to be, and where you want to go. And the third, is something which I would say particularly, to maybe younger women, and I went through that myself as a younger woman in the financial industry, is don't hesitate to ask. Don't hesitate to, put yourself out there, to raise, your visibility and profile, in order to achieve something, for your business, for your teams, for particularly any aspect, of your work that you want to see furthered or invested in or recognized, right? Put yourself out there and do not be shy. Have the confidence to do so. And then maybe the last point I would say that has definitely been a very core driver, I would say, of many successful people over the years is nurture your support network. Know who your support network is. Nurture that. Build trust around that, both ways, and grow that.
Thank you. I think that was very good advice, not only for young females, but also for me. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for the great conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really nice being here, and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
네, 연합인포맥스가 운영하는 연합뉴스 경제TV 앞으로 더 많은 인터뷰로 찾아뵙도록 하겠습니다.
끝없는 위기 속 기회는 언제나 숨어 있습니다. 성공한 투자 고수들과 나눈 투자의 철학. 다가올 기회를 잡아내는 부의 만찬으로 여러분을 초대합니다. 푸짐하게 한 상 차려놓았습니다.